Good morning to all. So again, I'm back with the third lecture of financial management. Here again, just a small introduction. And today we'll be covering the time value of money concept. I just briefed you in the last class what time value is. Now we'll be doing practicals about the same. So I was telling you yesterday that when we have something with us in the present, that is always more valuable than what we are going to get in future. All right. So a bird in hand worth more two in the bush. I told you about this quote that was very much relevant when we talk about time value of money. So I also gave you this example that if you are having 10,000 today and you're given an option that you can have this 10,000 at the end of 2 years, then which one will you choose? So obviously you will go for the first option, because if you go for the second option, then you would have to forego the interest that you could have earned if you have invested this amount in some bank account or somewhere else. Like agar aap invest karte, so you could have earned something more. All right, so now we are going to move to another concept, that how do we actually get to know that which two options are better. So we'll be comparing any two given options or more than two options on the basis of time value concept. All right, so for this, these are the formulas that we're going to need. So we'll be calculating future value and present value. See, if we want to know that any investment which is giving me 20,000 at the end of 5 years, and there's one more investment option which is giving me 30,000 at the end of 7 years. Now, you cannot say that the second option will be better just because the amount is huge or because it's greater than the first amount. So here what you have to do is you will have to reduce both the values for the present value, and only then you will get to know which one is better. So here what we are going to do is we'll calculate the present value. Now how do we calculate this present value? We are given the future value, so we divide the future value by the present value we multiply it by the present value factor, or there is one more formula which is future value divided by 1 plus interest rate divided by the number of years whole to the power time. जो भी आपका time period होगा, जो भी आपका compounding period रहेगा वो. All right, and if we want to calculate the future value, then we will just reverse this formula. We'll just change the position of the respective values. So that will be present value multiplied by 1 plus I, that is the interest rate, divided by n raised to the power time, जो भी आपका time period रहेगा. ठीक है, so in this I stands for interest rate, N stands for number of compounding periods per year, because sometimes it happens कि आपको जो rate दिया होता है वो per annum ना होकर वो semi annually या quarterly भी हो सकता है. तो that is why we are taking two figures N and T separately. N means कि आप एक साल में कितनी बार compound करोगे, and T stands for the number of years. So अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम सेमी एनुअली कंपाउंड करते हैं तो व्हाट विल हैपन, एक साल में आपको 2 बार इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. सो द टोटल टाइम पीरियड विल बिकम 2, बिकॉज ईयर आपका एक है और एक साल में 2 बार कंपाउंड कर रहे हो, सो दैट विल बी 1 into 2 2. अगर आप क्वार्टरली कर रहे हो देन अगेन आपका एक साल में 4 बार कंपाउंड होगा इंटरेस्ट. तो एक साल की अगर मैं बात करूं, सो टी इज 1 and n will become 4. So the n multiplied by t will become 4. अगर आप 2 साल का पीरियड ले रहे हो एंड द इंटरेस्ट इज कंपाउंडेड सेमी एनुअली, तो आपका एक साल में कितनी बार इंटरेस्ट कंपाउंड होगा, 2 बार, एंड टी इज 2 years, so n into t will become 4. So this is how you're going to do it. Although we'll restrict ourselves to simple questions in which we will take the number of compounding as 1 only, जहां पे हम per annum के basis पे ही questions को solve करेंगे. So this is a question. So you have been making a deposit of 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 and 5,000 at the end of first year, second year, third year and fourth year respectively at the rate of 10% per annum. Now find the value at the end of fourth year. See, this is a very simple question. आपको हर साल अलग अलग अमाउंट जो है वो आप डिपॉजिट कर रहे हो. ठीक है, आप अपने बैंक अकाउंट में, लेट्स अज्यूम दैट वी आर इन्वेस्टिंग दीज अमाउंट्स, दीज फिगर्स इन अवर बैंक अकाउंट. तो हमने फर्स्ट ईयर के एंड में 10,000 इन्वेस्ट किया, सेकेंड ईयर के एंड में वी इन्वेस्टेड 12 एंड एट द एंड ऑफ थर्ड ईयर वी इन्वेस्टेड 15,000 एंड एट द एंड ऑफ फोर्थ ईयर वी इन्वेस्टेड फिफ्थ ईयर. सो अब हमें, अगर मैं बिना टाइम वैल्यू लगाए अगर मैं ये पूछूं कि 4 साल बाद मेरा पैसा कितना होगा, so what will you say? 10,000 plus 12,000 plus 15,000 plus 5,000. This is what you're going to tell me. ठीक है, 10 plus 12, 22, 22 plus 15, 35, 35 plus 5, 40. 42, 42,000 is what you're going to get after 4 years if you do not include the time value concept. ठीक है, but अभी हम टाइम वैल्यू कॉन्सेप्ट लगा के चेक करेंगे दैट व्हाट इज एक्चुअली गोइंग टू बी द फ्यूचर वैल्यू. सो हियर दिस कंपाउंडिंग रेट इज 10%. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन में पढ़ो, द कंपाउंड द रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इज 10%, यानी कि आपकी जो अमाउंट है दैट इज कंपाउंडिंग एट द रेट ऑफ 10%. ऑलराइट, and before I start with this question, I will also tell you simple formula for this. See, ये जो formula था future value का, PV into 1 plus I divided by n raised to power n into t. There's a very simple formula for this as well, in which we'll be using the log tables, the present value tables. So in that case, जो आपका ये वाला component है 1 plus I divided by n raised to power the time period, this is actually known as PV factor. This is known as जो भी आपका, अगर आपको कंपाउंड करना है तो इट विल बिकम फ्यूचर वैल्यू फैक्टर, और आपको प्रेजेंट वैल्यू निकालनी है तो इट विल बिकम प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर. सो इन दिस क्वेश्चन वी जस्ट हैव टू डू वन थिंग, वी जस्ट मल्टीप्लाई द प्रेजेंट वैल्यू बाय द फैक्टर. अगर कंपाउंडिंग फैक्टर है तो वील डू इट बाय फ्यूचर वैल्यू कंपोनेंट, एंड इफ इट इज प्रेजेंट वैल्यू देन वी विल मल्टीप्लाई इट बाय द प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फैक्टर. Now I'll just show you the file. So this is the table that we are going to use. So I'll just tell you how to use this table. Although in examination you might be getting the value, so you do not have to actually use this table, but still you should be in a position to do it with the help of table also. So in this table, what you have to do is, you have to first of all check the rate of interest. You have to understand that what exactly the rate of interest is. Abhi in this given question, we were told that the rate of interest is 10%. So corresponding to 10%, we will calculate the future value factor for the respective years. जो भी आपके periods रहेंगे यहाँ पर, on the left side you can see periods are being given, and there's a horizontal line on the top which tells you about the rate of interest. ठीक है, and the heading states future value interest factor. So this is future value factors table. So corresponding to 10%, we are being given different factors for the various periods that we have. ठीक है. So now if I move back to the slide, so here you can see that we were given these cash flows 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 and 5,000 for year 1, for year 2, for year 3 and year 4. Now there's this column, second column, compounding period. Now what this compounding period is, see, when you are investing some amount and you want to know the future value, you have to calculate the compounding period, which means that for how long this amount stays invested in the investing project. So here, when you are investing some amount at the end of first year and the total tenure of your investment is 4 years. So for how long is the amount invested? Only for 3 years, because already the first year has been gone. पहले साल में, पहला साल तो पूरा निकल चुका है. आपने जो investment करी है, that is at the end of first year. So total कितने periods बचते हैं? सिर्फ 3 period बचते हैं. So आपको compound कितने time के लिए करना होगा? Only for 3 periods. Now, moving to the second row, you are investing some amount at the end of second year, यानी कि पहले के 2 साल तो निकल चुके हैं. So for how long does this amount stays invested? Only for the 2 years, the remaining 2 years, that is year 3rd and year 4. Now moving on to the third row, इसमें आपने थर्ड ईयर के एंड में you have invested 15,000, which means that आपके 3 साल ऑलरेडी निकल चुके हैं. Only the 4th year is remaining. So compounding period is only 1. And the last row, which is for 4 years, here the compounding period will become 0. Why? Because you are investing it at the end of the tenure. यहाँ पे फ्यूचर वैल्यू निकालने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, because it is already at the end of the project. So यहाँ पे the compounding period will become 0. Now we have calculated all the compounding periods, ठीक है, and we have the cash flows also. Now what we'll do, for the compounding rate of 10%, we will go back to the table and we will write the corresponding future value interest factors for compounding period 3, 2, 1 and 0. Please pay attention. यहाँ पे when we are talking about future value, you will never write the future value factors for the given years. You will always have to calculate it for the compounding periods. ठीक है? So moving back to the table, we'll write the future value interest factor for 10% for the compounding period 3. So for the 10% compounding value for third period is 1.3310. If you all could see this, third row and 10th column, the value is 1.3310. And for 2 years or for 2 periods, it is 1.210, and for 1 period, it is 1.10. Now, let's go back to the slide. So here I have already written it. Future factor interest value. Future value interest factor. For compounding period 3, it is 1.3310. For compounding period 2, it is 1.210. And for period 1, it is 1.10. And for the 4th year, the compounding period is 0. Whenever the compounding period is 0, you will have to write 1 as the future value interest factor. Why? Because यहाँ पे आपको ना तो compound करने की जरूरत होती है, ना ही discount करने की जरूरत होती है. It will always be taken at its face value. So 5,000 will remain 5,000 only. उसकी future value होगी ही नहीं कुछ, क्योंकि वो already 4th year के end में उसकी value को calculate किया गया. All right. So what we'll do now, we'll simply multiply the cash flows with the future value factors. So 10,000 multiplied by 1.3310, which gives us 13,310. Then we'll multiply 12,000 with 1.2100, which gives us 14,520. Then we'll multiply 15,000 by 1.1000, which gives us 16,500. Then 5,000 multiplied by 1, which is 5,000 only. And now we'll add all these future values, and the total comes as 14,330. So this is the future value. I hope this example would be clear to all. Now moving back to the question, The second question is Mr. X receives 20,000, 15,000, 4,000 and 2,000 at the end of first, second, third and fourth year respectively. Now here what happened is the interest rate or the discounting rate is 15%, and here you have to calculate the present value. Again, it is very simple. We'll just change the formula here. Earlier we were calculating future value. Now we'll calculate the present value. When we are talking about present value, the term is discounting rate, because we are trying to reduce it. We are trying to discount it. So here also what you have to do is we'll use the table for present value interest factors. Earlier we were doing it for future value interest factors, and now we'll do it for present value interest factors. And the process remains the same. Ab yahan pe what happen is discounting period remains the same as the year in most of the cases. I'll tell you how. Yahan pe bhi you were doing, or you were investing amounts at the end of year 1, year 2, year 3 and year 4. So now the discounting period will be the same. Why? Because at when you are investing some amount at the end of 1 year and you want to calculate the present value. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to move back. I'll show you one table. If you could see this table, so there are different periods. Period 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Period 0 means present time. Now, when we are investing some amount at the end of 1 year and we want to calculate the present value, which means we are trying to go back to period 0. So for how long do we have to calculate the, for how many periods do we have to calculate the present value? For period 1. And if we are investing some amount at the end of second year, for how many periods do we have to go back? 2 periods. And when we are investing some amount at the end of 3 years and we want to calculate the present value, how many periods do we have to go back? 3 periods. Investing some amount at the end of 4 years, so how many periods will we go back? 4 years. And similarly 5 years for 5 years. So again, yahan pe year and the discounting period remains the same. Now cash flows are already given to us 20,000, 15,000, 4,000 and 2,000. So if we go back to the table, we'll calculate the present value interest factors now. So this was future value table. Now I'll show you present value table. So this is present value table. Now again, the process is same. In the topmost column, in the topmost row, we are given the various interest rates. And in the first column, we are given the periods. So we will find out the corresponding value for the given period and given interest. So for 15%, we have to calculate the present value factor for period 1. That is 0.8696. And for period 2, it is 0.7561, then 0.6575. So let's go back to the slide. So if you could see this, I have written the same values here. For period 1, it is 0.8696. For period 2, it is 0.7561. For period 3, it is 0.6575. And for period 4, it is 0.5718. Now again, we'll multiply the cash flow with the present value interest factors, which gives us 17,392 for the first year, and then 15,000 multiplied by 0.7561 gives us 11,341.5. 4,000 multiplied by 0.6575 gives us 2,630, which means that if you are investing some amount at the end of 4 years, then the present value for that particular value is only 2,630. And if you're getting some amount of 2,000 at the end of 4 years, then the present value is only 1,143.6 rupees. So the total comes to 32,507 rupees. So this is how you calculate the present value. Now, this I've already told you how to use the log table. So for future value, we just simply multiply the present value by the future value interest factor. And when we talk about present value, we multiply the future value by the present value factor. Now, this term annuity is very important again. So what do you mean by annuity? See, annuity is a fixed sum of money paid to someone each year, typically for the rest of their life. If it is not being paid for the rest of the life, if the period is only limited, we simply call it annuity. And when it becomes for a endless period or for infinite period of time, it becomes perpetuity. So here, the amount of investment or the installment money will remain same for all the period of time. So at the end of first year also we are going to pay, if let's say we assume that we are investing only 5,000. So at the end of every year, I'm going to invest only 5,000. 5,000 for year 1, 5,000 for year 2, 5,000 for year 3, and so on. All right. So for annuity, this is the formula for calculating the present value and future value. See guys, these formulas are already given to us, but it is always beneficial to use the log tables, because there you do not have to do these tedious exercise of multiplication, division. So it's very long. It's a very long kind of a method. So you can use this just in case you're not available with the log tables and you're finding it very difficult to read or understand the table. Then you can use these formulas. Otherwise, you can just use the log tables. It is very simple. So present value of annuity is given by C, which is the cash flow, multiplied by 1 minus bracket mein there's this amount given 1 plus I raised to power minus n, which means it will be go in the reciprocal, it will get reversed, divided by I. And where I again is the interest rate and n is the frequency of payment or the time period. Then future value is also just like this only, C multiplied by I, bracket 1 plus I multiplied by n minus 1. So this is the formula for future value of annuity. Now with the use of log table, it's very simple. When we have to calculate the future value, we'll simply multiply PV into FVIFA. Now please pay attention here. The word A is extra in this. Earlier, when we were using the log table in those two questions, I have only written PVIF and PVIF. There was no A in it. Now A stands for annuity. So when we are using or when we are talking about annuity, we will always use this annuity table. It's always given separately. Okay. So let's do an example. So here, if we deposit 16,000 per year for 5 years, each deposit is made at the end of year in an account that pays an annual interest rate of 12%. What will be your worth? What will be your account worth at the end of 5 years? So we have to calculate the future value at the end of 5 years, and the interest rate is 12%. And the cash flow is 16,000. So these are the figures that we are already given. C, 16,000, I is 12,000, and T is 5 years. So we can do it with the long formula also, and we can do it with the log table also. So I'll use the log table. So now I'll show you the annuity table. So let's move to the annuity table here. So this is the annuity table. If you could see the top heading, it is written future value interest factor annuity compounded, FVIFA. So this is future value factor. Now here the compounding rate was 12%, and we have to calculate it for how many years? We have to calculate it for 5 years. All right. So 12%, 5 years. It is 6.3528. So same way we will have to calculate the value. We'll just check the interest rate corresponding to the period. यहाँ पे we will not have to do for individual values, individual years. हमारा एक क्योंकि payments जो है हमारी same है, uniform है, so we do not have to do it for individual values. We'll do it collectively. So total period हम यहाँ पर check करेंगे. That is 5 years. So the corresponding amount figure is 6.3528. So you see this PV, which is the present value or the cash flow, 16,000, and the future value interest factor for annuity is 6.3528. So how will we calculate the future value? 16,000 multiplied by 6.3528. So the value that comes is 1,01,644.8 rupees. All right. So is this example clear? I guess it's very simple and very basic kind of a thing. So you just have to multiply it by the annuity factor. Now, there's this term called perpetuity. I have just told you what perpetuity is. It's the same as annuity, but for an unending period of time. Annuity can be of two types. या तो वो fixed period के लिए हो सकती है कि 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. या फिर perpetuity का case भी हो सकता है. That is never ending period for an infinite period of time. All right. So here the formula is cash flow divided by the interest rate. Now what happens sometime is that the perpetuity might grow at a rate G. It is very much possible that you grow and you want to increase the perpetuity. So again, यहाँ पे the present value will be CF divided by I plus G. G is the growth rate. So let's just do these two examples on annuity and perpetuity. Sorry, perpetuity and perpetuity with growth. So there's an endowment policy. Now, if the rate of return is 8%, we have to find out the endowment value, which will support 1 million payments each year. So how do we calculate the present value of perpetuity? So here the C, that is the cash flow, is given as 1 million. So we have written it 10 lakhs. 1 million is 10 lakhs. And the rate is, or the interest rate is 8%, which is 0.08. So we'll just apply this formula of perpetuity, that is CF upon I. So CF was 10 lakhs divided by 0.08 and we get 1 crore 25 lakhs, 1.25 crores. This is the present value of perpetuity. Again, if the scholarship or the endowment policy states that it will grow at 4%, now how will this affect the present value? Let's see. So since the endowment, the installment money or the payment that we are getting was same, that is 10 lakhs. So here what we are doing is we are doing it by the growth method. So the formula for growing perpetuity is CF divided by interest minus growth. So 10 lakhs divided by 0.08 minus 0.04. That is 10 lakhs divided by 0.04 only, which gives us 2.5 crores. So this was it. This was about time value, in which we actually try to calculate the actual present value, which considers all the risk factors, all the inflationary condition. Risk factor basically means the inflationary conditions which might prevail during that span of time, which might
compensate for the loss of time, for the loss of present consumption. Because whenever we are investing some amount, we are also foregoing the present consumption. And also there might be a chance, there might be a possibility that during that span of time, the value of money deteriorates, or it might upgrade also. But for that, we need some kind of security. And that security is actually provided by the interest rate, which always includes the risk factors. That is why it is always beneficial to compare two investment options only in the light of time value. So this is it. So we'll just end it here. And I'm going to share some questions with you for time value factors only. And you will be solving it and you will be sending me the pictures for the same.